So hi and welcome to another Tech Tuesday. Today I'm going to take a look at this Razer Orbweaver keypad here, or gamepad. If you haven't already, check out the link for the giveaway that I'm doing for the Logitech G403. If you're not familiar with my Tech Tuesday videos, I look at generally gaming peripherals, show some gameplay, I'll show you the pros and cons, give you some idea of what they're like, show you a bit of the software, and just give my general thoughts on the products that I'm looking at. If you're not sure what a gamepad's for, these are to replace the keyboard when you're gaming, and they put all the keys in a much more easier to reach position than you would do on a normal keyboard. So you're not stretching for things like X, C, maybe F and G, maybe some of the 1, 2, 3 keys. It also adds a lot more functionality to your thumb instead of just spacebar, maybe X, C and V. So this is my fourth Orbweaver here. I've had the Orbweaver original, which is a green one, no RGB. I've had the Orbweaver Elite Chroma, which is similar to this one, has all the Elite kind of Chroma functionality. I've also had another Elite Chroma, and now I've got this Stealth Chroma as well. I will be doing a comparison video on the difference between the Elite Chroma and the Stealth, so subscribe for that. If you want to see what the Orbweaver's like against the Tyrannus, I'll put a link in the description. I've already done one on that to give you an idea if you're not sure which one to pick. Now these products are quite limited. Only Razer, Logitech and a few other third-party peripherals do these kind of gamepads or keypads. So they're quite a niche market. I've been using, like I said, these for 4 years. And I predominantly use the Nostromos, the Tartarus V2, the Logitech G13, and the Razer Orbweaver. So I've got a good understanding of what these are like. So the good things about this Orbweaver is its ability to be configured to your hand position. This is one of the only ones that allows you to do this. The Tartarus has some functionality, but the Orbweaver itself has the ability to extend the thumb position. Is able to extend its main platform. You can also manipulate the way the palm rest sits so it rocks backwards and forwards. So this has a 3-way positional configuration for your hand, which makes it a lot easier to reach some of the key components. I've had no issues here reaching any of these keys. The only keys that are slightly difficult to reach, and I'll put the measurements of my hand up here, are the 1 to 5 range, and generally the 4 and 5 because of my index finger's a little bit shorter, so I have to raise my hand up a little bit, as you can see here, and just connect to the 4-5 key. Other than that, 3, 1, 2 are easy to reach, and the rest of the keys are good. Thumb position on this one is fantastic. The keys themselves here are mechanical. These are the Stealth ones. As you can see, although they are Stealth, they don't have that click of like an MX Blue or the Razer Greens. They still have some sound to them, more than generally when they're bottoming out. But I don't mind this. I did have the green ones originally, which is the Elite, and I changed it because they were slightly louder. These are more of a deeper click. The greens are a bit more of a louder, high-pitched click. Another thing to note is that these have tactile feedback, so there is a slight bump on it. The key press is reasonably heavy. It's not as light as a Razer Yellow, for instance, but it's not too heavy that you'd have an issue pushing the key. I like the fact that on the thumb rest on the Orbweaver, all the keys use the same switch, but they're much easier to press and they all sound very similar and feel the same. There's a few negatives with this. One of them is the quality. I've had 2 Elite Chromas, as I've said, mainly due to the fact that I've had issues with the rear pad coming loose, and you can see on this one here it's also doing the same. You see that the rear pad peels off underneath here. The rubber comes away. Now the original one before this, I didn't have any issues with that. That's the only one that's been good. I only changed it because I wanted the Stealth version, but the original Orbweaver green one, the pad came off, Razer replaced it under RMA. The replacement one then did the same. A year later, Razer wouldn't replace that, so I had to buy another Elite Chroma. These are 129 quid, so they're quite expensive. And then eventually I changed for the Stealth here, which again, now this is about 2 months old, and again the pad's coming off. So I'm sure Razer will replace this, but it's a little bit annoying. You shouldn't be doing this at the premium that it is. I'm not sure it's to do with the heat on the palm of your hand that raises and causes the glue to go a bit loose, or whether it's just a design flaw, because I say 3 of these out of the 4 I've had have done exactly this problem. The rear pad on it here is also rubber, which is nice. It's a nice, soft, kind of sticky rubber, but it's a decent feel. It's not sticky when you're using it, but your hand doesn't slip around. It's a nice palm rest. It's not too padded either. It's quite firm, but it doesn't give me any issues with my hands or anything like that. I don't get any pain. I play with this thing for 7-8 hours on a Friday night when I'm streaming PlayUnknown or Dead by Daylight on Twitch. Honestly, I've had no issues with it at all. I would not be without this Orbweaver. It might have some issues with the design. I've also had one of them lose a key, but let's say that was because it's a manufacturing fault. Out of the 4, I've had only one of the keys has started to fail. And the keycaps is the other main issue I found with these Orbweavers. 11 and 16 does wear out, and they wear out pretty fast. You can see already they're starting to wear out here, and the other ones have worn out virtually. So there's no black. The keys still work, but the keycaps do wear out, which is a little bit of a shame. Feel the keycaps themselves are like a soft rubber coating, so I can understand why it rubs out, but I would expect on more of a premium product for these not to wear out. They don't wear out on the Black Widows that I've got, just on the Orbweaver. The design itself looks awesome. It's nice and in profile. It doesn't take up too much space on your desk. It doesn't slide around because of these rubber feet. It's got some decent rubber feet on here. The only negative about these feet is that sometimes they can pick up some dust, as you can see here. And once they get a bit of dust collected, the mat will slide around. As long as you clean those, it does not move. The only other issue is that if you've got white desks like I have, it will leave black marks. So you've got a bit of OCD with black marks, be prepared for that, because if it does move around, it will leave some. It's got a nice 2-meter braided cable. I would like it to be a little bit longer, maybe 2.5 meters, but it's not really caused me too much of a problem. It's a bit like the keyboard length, so, but if you want to wrap it around on your desk with a cable management, it's probably a little bit short, but then hey, so is every keyboard. Razer tend to give you a longer USB cable than most of them, so it's not really an issue. Profile lights aren't RGB, that's a bit of an issue. You have to use Razer Synapsys V2, because V3 doesn't work with the Orbweaver, which again is a little bit negative. It would have been nice, and I've spoken to Razer on the support forums to give it support for Synapsys 3, and they said no. So at the moment, Black Widow's on Synapsys 3. I had a Lance Head Tournament Edition that was on Synapsys 3, and my Orbweaver's on Synapsys 2. But that to me needs sorting out. I don't see why the Orbweaver couldn't be on Synapsys 3. It's got the same configuration for Chroma as any of the other ones. I think Razer's just trying to hold it back, maybe. Maybe they're going to release a new Orbweaver. I don't know. The space on this is great. It's like a little flat plate, but it's got a great, very, very sensitive click, and it's very fast. So you don't have much movement on it, so you can jump around a lot faster, probably quite a lot in Fortnite. The directional pad on it is a little bit tricky. It's an 8-way directional pad or 4-way. I use it as a 4-way because I find the 8-way is a little bit inaccurate to hit in the diagonals. It's not very easy to feel the diagonals on the Orbweaver, and that's why I use it as a 4-way. And it's also quite sensitive, so you can sometimes flip between weapons. The thumb button press here, which I use for E or F generally for picking up objects, is excellent. It's in a great position. Makes it a lot easier than using the keyboard and a lot faster. So overall, these take a little bit of getting used to. I've been using them for a long time, and I would never go back. I love the Orbweaver. I've had 4 for a reason. That's because it's one of the best I've ever used. I find it a lot easier than a gaming keyboard, and I've used gaming keyboards for a long time. Like how grey my beard is. I understand. So if you can get used to it and you want to spend the extra money, these are definitely worth looking at. You just got to find the right one for your hand. The Orbweaver gives you the ability to do that and manipulate your hand, especially if you've got a bigger hand, and you can move it to make sure you can reach the keys. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the software here. This is the Synapsys version 2. It shows you an overview of the actual Orbweaver itself. On the left, you've got customized lighting, add-ons, macros, chroma wraps, and stats. You have a selection of profiles. As you can see here, I've got quite a lot set up for this. Anyway, you want to play, and then it'll enable it if you click it to a program, just to launch it if you wish. I actually just pick the program myself from the start menu here, right click, Chroma Stealth, and then pick which profile I want to run that time for that game. What you can do is you can select a key. So let's say we want to remap this one here to escape, because that's my kind of like natural escape movements over here, and this key here. which is 01. It says 01, you pick key function, rebind key, push escape on another keyboard, your normal keyboard, and it clicks escape, click save, and that's it, it's remapped to escape. You want to reset this to M, let's say, for map. Again, default's V, but you go keyboard function. You've got a few other functions here. We're just going to show the keyboard ones. Push M, map to M. That's how simple it is to remap the keys on this Orbweaver. If you want to look at the side view for the thumb, you can basically push side view at the bottom, and then you can remap this. I normally have it as like an F. Just pick up items, it's now an F. And then you've got your directional pad here. You can have it as buttons or directional. Like I said, you can have 8 configuration. I always do it on directional, up, down, left, right, just because it's easier for me to hit those sweet spots. Spacebar you can reset, but we're going to leave that as default. So that's the button configuration. You can run macros if you wish, or you can run anything else. I mean, it's got quite a lot of options, macros, switch key map, switch the profile, all these little bits if you want to use it for, but I just use the key function at the minute. Feel free to let me know what you use it for in the comments. You can add a new profile, delete one, you can copy profiles, which is good. If you're familiar with Razer Snapshot software, you'll understand that. Lighting wise, you can pick the different types of lighting. I normally have it on just a static one, but you can have it on spectrum cycling if you wish. Wave, ripple, all these different ones. You can change the direction of it if you wish. On the wave, reactive, so if you push something now it'll light up. Those are different light settings, medium, strong light. I just normally have it on spectrum cycling because I just like that one, and you can click the apply to all if all your Chroma devices are on the same Synapsys software, and this is always a problem because my Black Widow V2 here is on Synapsys 3 and Synapsys 2 is the Chroma Stealth Orbweaver, so I can't sync them. Bit of a pain, yeah. Sort out Razer, please. That'd be wonderful. You can use it for add-ons, but I've never used that for Warcraft. You've got some macros here that you can run. Again, I'm not going to go through that, but you can record them as you would do any other application. You've got the Chrome wraps, which is standard. You've got statistics to tell you what games are heat map driven if you're pressing a lot of buttons on it. Say, for instance, you can see how many keystrokes you've done, distances, all those kind of things. You can see I've used quite a few devices. Orbweavers showing none there. Look at the different Orbweavers. In fact, none of them are showing any statistics. Interesting, but they should do. Hey ho. So I hope you like this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my other videos. I've done a lot on these gamepads and also other technologies. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do anything else. And until then, I'll catch you again later. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.